Welcome to Fact or Freestyle.
People love Dave Nourie, and they always answer the phone when he calls. When we get him on Zoom, we ask him to confirm rumors.
Let's see how far down the rabbit hole we go. Like something about being in that environment that's created and then being present in yourself, like all of those things happen. I feel like that's the formula that needs to be, recognized.
But, if you can have 40 people all working harmoniously between beginners to pros and everybody's just having a blast feeling that vibe. One of the local track directors was being interviewed recently, and he said what he loves about our facility and that what he knows I instill with the riders in the community around here is if you see Sam Bustle go pull a fakie to front flip in the park, we all lose our minds. And then when a kid gets up the quarter pipe for his first time, just as equally, we all lose our minds. Accomplishment is accomplishment, no matter what skill level.
It's coming back, and I'm loving it more and more that like more people are getting psyched on no matter what it is you do. Like before it was like if you're not doing like a quad whip, like I remember it vividly like 2 years ago being at the kitchen. It was like if you weren't doing that, like you wouldn't get a cheer. Like now it's like you're getting more people are starting to like realize like cheer like boost your friends, like that kind of stuff. Like if you're a newbie and somebody's like, yeah, that blows their mind, and like then they realize that they've actually accomplished something. You know what I mean? Like that's great.
Yeah.
So.
Fact or freestyle? Karl gets fear triggered when anyone says hot tub.
Before the compound grew to what it is, my big thing was put as many kids in the car. We bought a 15-passenger van. Let's go to every Midwest contest and show the parks, the companies, everything, as much support as we can. And one of the guys that always came with and helped out a lot was one of my best friends. His name's Cody Dixon. And so we were going to this park a lot called Over the Top in Bluff Valley, Minnesota. It's at a campground. This kid, Blake, runs a skate park there. Amazing kid, awesome vibes at this place. So we were just always drawn to anytime there's a contest there, we want to go help. And Blake would let us stay in his house, which was this little cabin. This 18-year-old kid had his own cabin with a jacuzzi out front. So it's the dead of winter, and we get stuck there at this contest. And it's like, it's like -10 out. Super cold. And myself, Cody, and a couple other guys are in the hot tub, relaxing after everything, just enjoying the vibes. But it's so cold that while you're in the hot tub, your whole face is like, Joe's mustache would just be froze with icicles coming down, like ridiculously cold. So I get to the point where I'm like, all right, guys, we got to decide, how we're going to single file this to the shower when we go in. So, because it is so cold, you immediately got to go straight to the shower. Like just getting out of the tub, everything's going to freeze. So I go shower, and so I go shower, I'm done. I hop in bed with my wife. And I hear the next person come in, which is Cody, and he's flying full speed because it's cold. Well, I had gotten the tile floor wet from when I showered. So he's flying in barefoot, and he's got the one towel around him. And all I hear is he hits the ground, the hardest flop I have ever heard in my entire life. So immediately, all I can think of is, oh, God, my friend's seriously injured. And you just hear this moan, like, oh God, it was the worst moan I'd ever heard. And I'm like, it's hospital trip, we're done. So I come over and swear to God, his towel blew off. He's stark naked because I forgot to say this part. He'd taken his boxers off and then wrapped the towel around right away because he's going to beeline it. So he's naked, keep in mind. He's got to beeline it because his boxers would have froze to him. So he's got to beeline it to the shower. So he's stark naked, bent over on his hands. He's on his knees. His hands are on his head, moaning. And I'm like, the first thing I can think of is, like, don't worry about the fact that he's naked. Help your friend. So I'm in my boxers. He's naked. Towel flew off. I go over and I grab him to help him up. And at that point, Blake, the kid that owns the cabin, opens his back door that's like adjacent to the next cabin. It's him and like 5 other people. They open the door. They see me straddling my naked buddy on the ground.
Oh my God.
We both at the same time go like this and just look up.
Wow.
They look at us. Everybody's dead silent. And Blake goes, nope, and just re-shut the door and left.
Fact or freestyle? Joey Bagz pooped his pants and still got podium.
Do you guys remember the skate park, Changa World?
Yeah.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
The original one that was in the old.
Okay,
Kmart.
the original one. Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For
So
sure.
we get out there. We got out there early. We were out the night before for practice, and then, you know, as any other bike rider, a young dude, like you had a contest with a bunch of pros, yada yada. We're getting all loose, and at the time, you remember those energy drinks, alcohol, malt beverages called Sparks energy drinks? You remember those or no? Okay. Well, out there we were drinking. We got a bunch of them. I had to have drank like maybe like 12 or 13 of those that night. I was like 16 or 17, man. I was young, maybe 18. Actually.
Yeah. You're 21.
21.
I was legal. But long story short, I'm drinking a bunch of those, doing shots of Jaeger, and then drinking beer, hammered. Long story short, I got sick that night, then had to wake up and go ride in this contest. During my run, like I was feeling fine. I finally sweated out and drank a bunch of water. During I guess warm up, and then my name gets called, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude, like this is not good. Like I wasn't mentally prepared like for it to smash me that hard that fast. And I'm like, whatever. I had my plan. I had my run and everything just set. So I dropped in. I did a 720 over the first box, and then the second box is like a hit to the right, and then I kind of like 720 slash over rotate 728. You know what I mean? It's like an 810. But mid 720 on the second box, Catfish is sitting there announcing, and I yank, and I'm about 540, and dude, this is all like one of those like, it was like a freak moment. But he's right there with the microphone. He's like, on the first box, he's like, yeah, 720. And the second, I'm like mid 7. He's like, oh, another 720, and the music stops, and I'm like in 540, and I just let out this ungodly fart. Well, I thought it was a fart. I thought it was a fart, but I crapped my pants. And I mean it literal though, because I wasn't wearing underwear. I wasn't wearing underwear at all. So I shit my pants, covered in shit, but I did not stop my run. I did my entire run.
Oh God!
I went
That's
outside.
professional.
I went outside, out back, and then Derek Jard, maniac, you know, he was out there smoking a cigarette, and there was a hose. So keep in mind, it was like the weather it is now in the Midwest. So it was like negative degrees. I take my pants off. He squirts me down with this freezing cold water, and then I put on another pair of pants that he had that were too big. Long story short, I think I got third in that contest. Catfish will probably remember that. He'll probably like bring it up if he sees this, but the music stopped, and he's like 720, and all he hears.
The simplest way I can put anything is, you know, I'm 43. I've been riding BMX my entire life, and you'll notice in different places you go to, there's circles, there's cliques, there's you always have that, you know, I'm a member of this, or I ride with these guys, or I'm street, or you know, or this bike company, or this parks feud, stunt teams, whatever. So there's a multitude of things, and I think in this day and age, BMX, much like the world, we have to focus on not our circle, but I tell kids all the time, instead of like trying to be a part of a circle, spread your arms out like this and embrace every single person. Like, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Let's forgive. Let's focus on what brings us together, not what separates us, not what makes us different. And I think one thing I love about BMX so much is I can sit on a ramp with someone where you throw away politics, you throw away differences in religion or anything that we might find the differences, and we find our common ground through bicycling. And so I just say every day, open your arms as wide as can be. And that's what we do here at the compound. Is there's not the nowhere guys or the Nebraska guys. We love and embrace everyone and treat anyone like family. And I think that's something that can help BMX grow every day. Is don't focus on the differences and don't focus on your circle, but focus on opening your arms and embracing and loving everyone, because it's going to help grow the sport, and it's going to help grow our nation and the world in a positive way. So that would be my message to everyone.
Kim Breton, Jim Hooley, weather from Terry Burhans, and Thor Tolo with sports. This is Channel 3 News.
From malaria, team number 1. Like that.
Take the first step to wellness. Call number.
Fuck his face up.